Focus listener who is going to detail her difficulties in securing accommodation. Our listener explains her hard life story, including difficulties and tragedy in her family, finding herself in and out of homeless services since her teenage years, suffering in an abusive relationship and dealing with depression, anxiety, social phobia and panic attacks. Our listener still finds herself homeless. She says she is trying everything to secure accommodation, but despite regularly contacting the local authority, she says her efforts have so far proven to be fruitless. Here is our conversation. I am joined in studio by our Morning Focus listener. Thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Can you tell me a bit about your life growing up and the challenges you faced that led to you experiencing homelessness at a young age?
My dad committed suicide. My mum moved, and obviously I had to move with her. Growing up wasn't easy because I was in that home since I was 15. I ended up sleeping in friends' houses, sleeping on the streets, ended up back at home again, back out, which is kind of a routine of in and out home. 17, I ended up in homeless hostel, and I ended up meeting my kid's father when I was 19. That was a very abusive relationship, domestic violence. I was 8 years with him, 5 kids with him, and I finally got the courage to leave him and ended up in a domestic violence refuge. And 2.5 years in that refuge I was, until I finally got my home for my children and me. But a year or two later, my mother went and got my kids taken off me.
Why did she have or want to have your kids taken from you? What did this situation you described in terms of being homelessness, was that still going on up to this point? Did she feel there wasn't a stable environment for them to be raised in?
She's been trying to get my kids taken since they were 4. My oldest was firstborn. So I don't know the reason behind it, as I never got told why she was at that. To me, it felt like growing up, she never wanted me. I was never her priority. But it's just never realised and dawned why she did it to me. Now, obviously, when they got taken, they were the reason I was so strong and so forward in life. So then when they got taken, I ended up with severe depression, severe anxiety, social phobia. Now I gained social phobia because when they went into care, I closed myself off from everyone, didn't leave the house, didn't want to do anything. So I ended up gaining the social phobia. Now thank God, it's not as much. I'm getting out myself again, but it's still there. Like still to this day, I'm struggling with it because it's just like part of me's gone since the kids went into care.
Which is understandable. And is that something you fought? Did you try and reason with your mother, or to no avail?
Well, it was Tulsa now has them in care till they're 18, so I failed the parent capacity assessment because like that, I'm not good with equations like blocks or maths. I never was good at. That's my downfall. You know, at the moment I'm getting waiting to get tested for ADHD because, as I said, like my brain doesn't take in things. It's like I struggle to take in things, and I struggle to express how I actually feel. But it's just been hard. Like, and then when I moved, I was in the homeless services. I've been moved from pillar to post. End up losing one of the houses I was in. That was through homeless, but because I got with someone else, and then they had to move me into accommodation where there was relationships allowed. So then that relationship broke down. I ended up back in the place where I was again, and then I was moved back to the place, back again.
So from you literally, as you say, pillar to post. It sounds like you've known very little other than homelessness, even like in your teenage years. You know, by the time you're 19, so much has happened to you. Was that just through difficulties between you and your mother? Were you thrown out, or did you leave because you didn't want to be under the same roof as her?
I was thrown out, in and out of home. Like, I never did drugs, never drank. I do drink very seldom. I'd much rather not drink.
So you don't have addiction issues or anything like that? That wasn't the root cause of this?
No, she was more or less controlling and manipulative. It was like I was just a weapon to her.
What has your experience been like trying to access housing support from the council and homeless services?
It's hard. Like at the moment, I'm ringing them twice a week. At the moment, I'm between a friend's house couch or a cousin's couch, and I'm still trying to get in there, and I just seem there's no end to it. I'm on CBL every week, put my interest in, and it's like there's no hearing back from it. But they offered me Winter Initiative, but I can't do Winter Initiative from where the Winter Initiative is happening.
And for people unfamiliar with that, can you explain what the Winter Initiative is?
It's basically 9 to 9, like you're in at 9 o'clock at night, out at 9 o'clock in the morning. And it's just you phone call every night to support your bed the next day. So it's kind of hard for me because, like, with my anxiety and depression, I don't like to be fully out all the time. I like to know what's ahead of me. And it's very hard for when I don't know what's ahead of me and not knowing where I'm going to be from one end to the other.
How has homelessness affected your mental health and your ability to rebuild stability within your life?
It's affected me all sorts because I can't fight for more access with my children because I haven't got a home to fight for them. I can't actually I don't know where I'm going to be from one end to the other. So I'm just like, is this ever going to end for me? It's hard because you just don't have a home to call your own and your own safety where you can just say, it's your home. I just don't know what it's like to have stability in my life. Even when all through my life I've never had stability, I don't think. I've been pushed from pillar to post. Just feels like I've been ignored. Even with my mental health, it's just like I don't find any hope anymore. It's like I'm just holding on to the little bit of hope that's left of me.
Okay, it sounds like trying to see the brighter side of life is a daily struggle. And what kind of support or changes do you believe would make the biggest difference for someone in a situation like the one you're in? What would help you, begin to see a brighter day ahead? I suppose part of that would be getting your children back, and what would help you to do that? Obviously, having a stable environment of your own to bring them into.
Basic stability, and just having somewhere to actually call home, and that you can stand your ground and say, well, I've sufficed the home, now it's time to try and fight for my children. But like my kids, they're old enough nearly now. My oldest is going on 18, my youngest is gone 11. So like, it's practically they've grown up a lot of their lives, like, and still they don't know that I'm in this situation. They think I'm securely in homeless accommodation.
Would you prefer that that's what they think at the moment, or do you think it
It
shocks
would,
them?
because I don't want them worrying.
Yeah.
They worry, they stress, and they get upset about me, which is natural. And their mum, like, they've had a hard up life. Like, my oldest son has ADHD, behaviour problems. He struggles in everything, really, like he has from a young age. Because my two older ones would have remembered their father beating me. They remember what life I went through. Like, they had their father taken away from them, to them having to move into a refuge, to then have a home, and then finally the only secure net they had was me.
So, your experience in trying to access housing support from the council and homeless services hasn't borne fruit.
I keep getting told that there's no movement in the services, and that they'll get back to me as soon as there's this thing there. Like, I'm onto my mental health team big time, because my depression is getting worse, because it's like is this my life going to be always like this? It's like I'm stuck in a circle that I can't pull myself out of. It's like everyone should be entitled to a home. Everyone should be entitled to the secure net. When you don't know from where you're going to be from one end to the other, it's hard.
Yeah, no, that is understandable. Look, it sounds like you're in a very difficult situation. Hopefully that will change for you. We'll reach out to the relevant bodies and see if we can get some sort of a response. But thank you so much for joining me in studio and sharing your story.
Thank you.
And that was our Morning Focus listener who I spoke with earlier on, and we have reached out to Clare County Council on that, and we'll bring you a response as and when we get it. 0818 400